Hello my friends and welcome to another First Impressions video. This is Archean and it is an engineering sandbox game. It's probably going to be along the same lines as Minecraft or Factorio, but the selling point with this is that it's supposed to be very realistic with realistic physics. At the moment it only runs on RTX enabled cards. So you need a very powerful graphics card to even play the game right now. And of course it's early access, so there isn't a huge amount of content, but you can still program things and play around in the sandbox. So I'm gonna make this a short one. I've already looked over the tutorial because I wanted to see how complicated the game really was. Before I sat down and played it, because this is not the kind of game that you just sit down and play. So normally with my first impressions videos I would just be going into the game blind, but I'm going into the game having fiddled around for 20 minutes because I had to get the graphics working for a start. The graphics settings are in this kind of very tech demo like pop-up box here, and then you've got to press a button to unhook the mouse pointer to actually access this stuff. One thing that I would say to the devs straight away is on 4K the font and the text is tiny. There should be an option for 4K users to increase the size of the UI, and you probably also want to change the font to be a more smooth and modern font that's, you know, easy on the eyes, because this is actually really hard to read. Those of you watching this on YouTube who don't have 4K monitors but are watching this like rescaled to 2K will probably be struggling even harder to read the text in the in this sandbox. Anyway, so like Minecraft and many other sandbox games, you can build objects and then link them together. Seems pretty obvious, and then you know, you can add walls and floors and do, you know, build away. And you can admire your reflection because this game's got some very serious graphical settings onto it. Although, I mean, could probably go for some much higher resolution textures if you're going to truly take advantage of the graphics. Anyway, I'm going to keep this one reasonably short, and I will link the developer to the video, so he'll be there to answer your questions or all that kind of thing. What's really missing from the game for me right now, and it is early access, this is just a demonstration of what they want to do, is that there's no gameplay. You're sandbox building for the sake of sandbox building. So one of the key features of the game is, for example, you can actually code devices. So these devices are based on key inputs. So inputs come from the driver's seat. So when you sat in the driver's seat, this is enabled, and then you've got things like inputs SWAD connected to various things that you can do, so steer, brake, drive, and all that kind of stuff. So you can programmatically build your own devices basically. And if you look at the tutorial here, you can see how the wiring is done. So you actually wire the computer to the various devices, such as the wheels, and you also connect them up with to the battery to provide power and so on. So, you know, what they're going for is 3D, almost like 3D Factorio, but there's no gameplay at the moment. There's no, like, you know, are we building a colony? Are we going to have colonists? Are we trying to survive. Like, there's nothing to do except to enjoy this for what it is, which is a sandbox. And there is a backpack full of, you know, various things that you can build. You, from what I can tell, you do rather awkwardly have to drag items into your toolbar to actually build them. And more often than not, they've got to be attached to something. Which would make sense depending on what they are. So apparently you can, you know, build spaceships and go into orbit and all that kind of stuff. So you can build like anchors, for example. So this thing is an anchor. And you see it's got a blue lead thing. So you can then connect that to a computer. Which, of course, there isn't one here. But anyway, you can connect the wire to a computer, and then you can then get the computer to deploy the anchor or undeploy the anchor based on your inputs in the code system. So, if you're drooling at the thought of this kind of game, then have a look into it and support the dev team, because it's, from what I can see, this game has had nearly no marketing at all, and it's ambitious to say the least. But at the moment there isn't, as I said, the one thing that's missing for me is gameplay. I'm a very objective orientated guy, and so I need objectives. To do. That's what I need in my life. Is objectives. I see at the moment you just bounce off things as well. There's no destruction physics in the game. I personally, I get bored if I don't have some like grand objective to be doing. You know, collecting resources, building a colony, fighting monsters, whatever it is. I sort of need a reason. And that's the big thing that I think is missing from this. And of course it's early access, so there's never a guarantee that it's going to be finished. But I can always return to this when it's closer to finished. I just think that, you know, you don't go early access unless you're desperate for support. So, since I was sent a key, and it only cost me a little bit of my time to show it to you guys, I thought I'd show it to you guys. But I personally think this is the kind of game... Sorry, the thing is really noisy. This is the kind of game where you are going to know instantly if it's for you or not. It's not the matter of it being a good game or a bad game. It's a toolbox, and you're going to appreciate that toolbox or you're going to not appreciate that toolbox. It's that simple, really. I wonder if I can roll this. Like, how realistic are the physics, really? Can I do a little, like, side slide up a ramp and actually roll this over? Oh. I did not succeed in rolling it, but it was not for want of trying. Oh! Hey, I rolled it. And then I sort of fell through the floor when I crawled out of it. So yeah, there's definitely some some rough spots. I don't know if there's like a button for me to like flip this or otherwise push it over. Not easily. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this short and relatively waffle-free here because, as I said before, if this kind of construction game, you know, this kind of game is going to interest you or it's not going to interest you. It's that simple. And if you would like to see it, you know, succeed and become bigger and better and whatever, gain some gameplay, then it's going to need support. And if you're not that interested or not invested in this kind of thing, then so be it. I will link the developer to this video anyway, so they can answer all your questions. As I said, the thing that's missing for me is actual gameplay, but it's early access. This is just a demonstration of what they have got and what you can do already. I did see on the store page that there were plans to add a survival mode with, you know, pressurized, you know, air, like compressed gases and stuff like oxygen, and I'm going to presume that there's going to be some element of resources and stuff like that, but this stuff is not in yet. This really is just a tech demo of what you can do. And as I said, this is a this has got some monster requirements. In fact, I did have this set to only for RTX 4090 quality. I don't know how much difference it really makes, other than that the shadows and lighting are much nicer now. But that's going to be mostly handled by the engine. I think the textures still kind of just look very rudimentary, very pixely to me. Especially when they're snapping in if you move along quickly. There's no way to speed up time in this either. You're driving or you're walking. It's real time. So, yeah. I would also... I know that, you know, it's a sandbox game about building things. I would include the ability to just summon a basic vehicle that's finished. Or a basic aircraft that's finished. Just so that you can get around. Without having to make vehicles every time. That would probably be very tedious. After a while. I don't know. It's, you know... It depends on what you're trying to get out of this, I suppose. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time.